Hi, it's Debbie Williams here, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about how the secret spell to spelling method may be of use to dyslexics. Because if you imagine a child just going to school, in fact I'll tell you a story of a friend of ours, a really confident little girl, and then went to school and started to be taught how to read. And she soon realised that everybody else was getting it before she was, which is going to knock any child's confidence, because when you think about it, when you first come to read, it's like learning something like Chinese, and the harder you look at it, if you're not getting it, then it distorts because you're trying and trying, and the words are going to start moving because they don't make any sense to you, because dyslexics think in a slightly different way. And it's different, it's not bad or inferior, it's just different. Some of the best peoples in our world have been dyslexic. Leonardo da Vinci was reported to be dyslexic, so was Einstein. More recently Richard Branson, and it certainly hasn't held him back. So we need to embrace the difference to help the child to feel confident that the way that they look at the world isn't wrong, it's just different. And we can pull it back down to earth. And one of the ways that we do that is by making the words quite small, like the word, for example, pet. One of the things that dyslexic children find confusing is words like P's and B's and D's, because they have ability to move around things and see from the inside, from the underneath, and so unless we can pull them down to earth and repeat so that they can see those words and that they become familiar in that certain shape, then it's sort of elusive. On holiday, sort of the year before, we were working with our friend, and she was struggling with dyslexia, and we taught her how to spell Mississippi forwards and backwards, and that was by chunking it down. And I remember holding the first word like this, and she was looking at it, and I said, okay, I took it down, what does it say? And she goes, MIS. And she was just guessing because she so wanted to please. But of course, if you're looking at something that looks like Chinese, it's not going to make any sense to you. So I said, well, slow down, don't guess. Let's take it one chunk at a time. You know, what's that first letter? Do you recognise that? And she goes, M. Okay, now what's the second letter? I. And we did this with each one, and then I goes back to the M, and I said, like, take a photograph in your mind's eye, go click, click, click. Because this is how we store visual memories. If you think of the cartoon characters, they go, let's see, I have an idea. And unfortunately, with English, it's not a transparent language. By that, the words are not predictable. And also we're using a method phonics, which phonics it should be spelled F-O-N-I-K-S. See, even Spanish people who are dyslexic don't know it until they start learning a language like English, which isn't phonetic. Because in transparent languages, Turkish, which I'm learning at the moment, words are very predictable and they seem to keep the same formula unless there's foreign words introduced which stand out like a sore thumb anyway. And so if we go back to words that seem very similar, or letters that seem very similar, P, B and D, then what I suggest is that you get your child to draw the letter, get you to draw, say, the letter B, and then get them to colour it in with blue, and then cut it out. So we have blue B's, purple P's, orange D's, and it helps them to be able to bring it down to earth. And so as we learn, say, the word pet, if we put the purple P there, it helps lock it into mind, and by repetition, take the photo, take the small chunk. And with this, we were able to teach our friend how to spell Mississippi forwards and backwards. But we had to sort of say, slow down, you know, this is a different strategy. It's not how you've been taught at school. We're using the visual method first, and then get the gut feeling. Does that feel right? are you actually seeing that in your mind's eye? So if we held up that first and we broke down each letter, and you take a photo, click, 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 and then we want you to represent it in your mind's eye. I'm going to put at the end of this video a testimonial from somebody who says that, you know, when they were learning phonics at school, how it confused them, and then once they learnt this method, one of the side effects was that their writing got very, very neat, because they were able to pull down this nonsense Chinesey language into something that seemed to be easier to comprehend. And if you think about it, you know, stepping into the child's shoes and seeing that everybody else is getting it, and all they're doing, they're trying, they haven't got a skill set, and then the teacher's reading out something that's phonics, which doesn't make sense to any of the adults, you know, a lot of the time. If you think about it, cough and thou and through, they've got the same little chunk of letters in, but they all sound differently. Okay, so I'm going to read out this little fun thing. My son will put it in the front to show how, you know, how really we're torturing kids with trying to teach them phonics. I have a spelling checker. It came with my PC. It plainly marks for my review mistakes I cannot see. I strike the cues and type a word and wait for it to say whether I am right or wrong. It tells me straight away. I ran this poem through it. You're sure real glad to know. It's very polished in its way. My checker told me so. And it just is a perfect example of what's wrong with phonetics in the English language. Please sign up to our channel, because my son has done lots and lots of videos for year 5 and 6, year 3 and 4, and he's working with me on the reception words. So it'll give you ideas. It may be a bit fast the first time you watch it, but they're there that you can watch them again and again. And with this method, my son can spell go forwards and backwards, because it's using a predominantly visual strategy, and then sort of there's the feeling and the sounds. So the visual is the marker, and we need that because the words look different, and we can't rely on sounding them out, because the sense in English, it doesn't make sense. There's so many exceptions to the rule. And also my son, who's now 10, he's written a book, The Secret Spell to Spelling, so there's a lot more information in that can help you to help your child. This may not be the complete answer for dyslexia, but it will certainly help you to help your child to bring down to earth this Chinese language and decipher it. So here's the purple P, and we've got the orange D, and we like to use blue B's. And again, thinking back to school, words like 6 and 9, they're sort of similar but upside down. And when you first went to school, your name had a sound, but it didn't have a shape. And so it took time to learn that. And so please sign up for our YouTube channel and look at the links below. Have a look at my son's website. There's a lot of information on there. He's built it all himself. He wrote the book all himself with help from the guys at the Apple shop. And very, very proud of the work that he's done. And as you'll see, what's following now is a testimonial from a parent whose child was confused with phonics. It wasn't necessarily dyslexic, but he was heading in that way. And like I said, it's not the total answer, but I think it will give you some help to help your child if he's struggling with dyslexia, and also if he's struggling with phonics. So great talking to you today, and bye now.